What's going on YouTube? All right, so we're doing an unboxing on this. This is the BEXGEAR Stratocaster. I have a plan for this and I want to do something cool with it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox this thing. Probably the easiest way to do that. All right, so more than likely this is the neck, all the goodies, and the actual body itself. Throw that box out of the way. Let's go ahead and look at this body real quick. So I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible. We're gonna throw this together and do a tone test. Because this is a single coil Strat. So as you can see, the body itself get you on the overhead cam right there. All right, so for the most part, it's not bad. I mean, this is a Komi wood, I think it was. However you pronounce that. This kit was about 60 bucks on Amazon, so I'm not expecting huge things out of this, but what I have planned for it will, I think, turn this into a little bit cooler. So we have the tremolo system. Try to get that on the overhead. It's actually, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, parts wise, it's definitely a thinner block. So it's pretty thin, which I would assume you could probably take this block and replace it with something else. I do have an older Fender, I think it was like a Tex-Mex Strat bridge, so I'm probably gonna throw that in there. I don't really necessarily use whammy bars and stuff like that, so it is what it is. Obviously, you get a whammy bar, springs, all that goodies. Of course, an extra guitar cable, neck plate, screws, jack plate. So this is pretty much all plug and play stuff. So if you're looking to just build a guitar and you don't want to have to do a lot of soldering or anything, I think these are nice options, especially if you want to paint them a certain color. You get your tuners. I might break one of those out and just check it out. A rear cover, some string tree, some strap buttons. Nothing else in that box. All right. Get a truss rod adjustment, a set of strings that don't come in a bag. They're basically just thrown into the box. Throw that out of the way. So as a single coil Strat, this seems smaller than I think a traditional Stratocaster Pickguard is. I could be wrong, but we will see. Let me grab something real quick and I'm just gonna throw this in there because I actually have a single coil Strat or a Strat Pickguard. All right, so this I'm 99% sure was actually a, I don't think it was a Fender one, so it might have been a Warmouth, but I don't know if you can see that overhead. Maybe it is similar to like the Fender styles. It for some reason looks smaller to me, but I will tell you this, if you plan on keeping all of the pickups and everything that come with these, what I would suggest, get a different pickguard, unless you like the single like solid white ones or 3-ply white ones. For me, if I were gonna keep this set up how it is, I would honestly buy another pick guard, because I feel that the holes that are pre-drilled won't match correctly. So you're basically going to have to put everything together, mark off where the holes go, like put the neck in, put the bridge in, all that stuff, mark off where the holes go, fill the holes that aren't lined up with the new pick guard, fill those in, and then clear coat everything. So basically we're going to turn this into like a Tom DeLonge style guitar. I think that, a single coil pickup or a single humbucker is actually a better option. But anyways, so if you plan on changing the pick guard with this, what I would recommend, get the new pick guard first before you paint this guitar, fill in all the holes and then re-drill them. Obviously you're going to have to put this together just to make sure that everything lines up with the bridge and the neck sitting in the body. Fill the holes, mark the new holes, and then drill them. So that's my best advice. But if you plan on just keeping it how it is, I would say just go from there. And the overhead camera just died, as it always does. But anyways, so that's what my recommendation. If you want to switch pickguards, get the new one first before you paint this guitar. Fill in all the pickguard holes and then re-drill them, so this way your new pickguard will fit perfectly without you having to go through, drill holes that don't fit, or try to screw this in with holes that don't line up and fit. So there's that. Last but not least, we're gonna pop open the neck. Now, this kit, like I said, was about $60 on Amazon, so give or take. This is in October, actually, this is in November, of 2024. So take that into consideration. If you plan on purchasing one of these, it may cost more in the next upcoming months or years, so just take that into account. I'm not crazy about the way that the headstock looks. It's not terrible. It is already finished, so there is a plus side to that, so you don't have to finish this neck. It seems like you might want to take a red Scotch-Brite pad or something to it, just to kind of make the neck smoother on the back end. The fretwork looks pretty good. The nut, so if this is any indication from the last guitar build that I did, which was the thin line Telecaster, the nut on this looks like it's in place, and it looks like it might be glued in, although this side right here on the treble side looks like it might need more glue, so take that into account as well. It doesn't look like it's moving, so anyways, let's go ahead, throw this together and do a tone test. All right, so my final thoughts, this guitar. Before we go ahead and put everything together and actually build this to what I think would be pretty cool. So for 60 bucks, I think, or give or take. So we'll say 80 total if you have to pay for shipping or if the price of it goes up or whatever. The tuners on this aren't great. The neck is pretty decent. I'm not crazy about the headstock shape, but I think it will work for the majority of people who just want to build a guitar and don't want to have to actually go through. You can buy replacement necks that are more in line with like what Fenders look like. So if you want to go that route, I actually have a Mighty Mite neck that I got from Stu Mac. It's twisted. I may try to use it on this guitar. We'll see if I can try to twist it into shape. Mostly it's twisted around the nut. So like you can see the headstock's kind of twisted like that down towards like where the treble strings are. It doesn't sound terrible. I will say that when you do put some grit to this, some gain and stuff into these pickups, they are noisy. So take that into consideration. You could potentially try to take these out and wax them to help. Obviously, putting some foil tape or anything inside of this will also help with noise to mitigate noise. I went through and I just kind of set the saddles up. I tried to intonate it pretty quick, so I didn't really do anything super special. On the back here, I basically just ran the wire through, and there's a little insert or like a cutout on this that you can like wrap the ground wire into. So that's pretty much how I did this, just to make it quick and simple and easy. So we're going to turn this into something cool. It's going to be like a Tom DeLonge guitar where it's just going to have the single humbucker, single volume knob. I already have all the parts coming for that. I got them off of Amazon, including the paint. So I'm going to do something a little bit different with this. We're going to use paint that I think you could go to most any store, Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, maybe even like some just automotive paint stores and stuff, whether it be O'Reilly's or AutoZone, where you can pick the majority of it up. So we're going to do this guitar black. I have a single humbucker coming. It's a Seymour Duncan Invader knockoff. So I'm going to test that next to an actual Seymour Duncan Invader and see if there's any real difference in how they sound. I'm sure the cheaper one obviously won't be as good as the Seymour Duncan, but for all intent and purposes, it was about 20 bucks off Amazon. The Pickguard was like 13, and I went ahead and ordered a Fender 500K volume pot for that, and the actual like volume knobs. So we're basically going to ditch all this. We're going to wire it all in and make it a kind of cheap knockoff, kind of like if you were to go buy a Squire and just change out some stuff. I will say this, just to try to keep this short. In all, I think that the build quality on this, even just out of the box, is pretty decent. Obviously, there is some stuff you will have to do, which in the full build for this guitar, we will go ahead and break down. But for the most part, for the majority of this, if you're just wanting to paint the body, I would say go through, scuff the body up with probably 320 grit sandpaper. Just make sure that you get this all nice and flat and level and stuff. And then you can go ahead and start doing the process. Plenty of videos that I've made about building guitars, as well as how to seal guitar bodies by themselves. I wanted to do like Krylon or Rust-Oleum paint, just because I figured for the most part, people maybe want to just go and buy something cheap to do this off the shelf. So give or take, we'll say about $5 to $10 per can. They're probably a little bit less than that. If you go to Walmart, you can probably get some Krylon paint for under 10 bucks. So a couple of cans of clear coat as sealer, a color, and then another can of clear coat to seal the actual paint itself. I understand that those Krylons and stuff are like single stage, so you can get them in a gloss, but I plan to actually gloss or clear coat over that just to make sure that there's no issues in the long run with scratches and stuff. So there is a little bit of protection over that. For the most part, I think this will be a pretty fun build. I do plan on actually try to sell this. Again, I'm going to try to use the other one just because it's an actual like licensed by Fender neck, but it is twisted, so we're going to have to work through that problem. Other than that, I think for the cost of this, if you're trying to build a guitar for under $100, I think it's worth it. Especially if you are new to guitar building and you don't really have a lot of the basis down for, soldering, stuff like that. This is plug and play, so it's pretty simple. Take it out of the box, put everything together, and then you can go to town with it. Obviously, you could change these pickups in here. I mean, they're single coils. There is a room under here to put some humbuckers. So even if you went that route, like I said, I would take this Pickguard and maybe buy a different one if you plan on upgrading it to a humbucker at some point. And then just basically I would fill in where all these holes are. So basically where all the Pickguard screw holes are, I would just fill those in, get the new Pickguard, set it on here with the neck and the bridge in place, so you have a good basis of where this is all going to sit when it's done. For the most part though, I will say the neck is actually pretty decent. I mean, you need to go through here and clean it up a little bit. There's no sharp edges, which is nice. So they do come fairly good out of the box. So the neck itself, if you don't care about the actual headstock, which it's not terrible. I am a Fender fan, so I like the look of Fender headstocks, especially like the 70s style headstocks and the original like 50s styles. So there's that. But I mean, I would say that this is somewhere around like a Yamaha or an Ibanez style headstock, so take that into account. You could switch these out. Like I said, I would just, if you're gonna switch anything out in this, get a different pickguard, fill in the holes. You can use a little bit of wood glue and some toothpicks, get it in there, glue them into place, let it cure for a couple of days, a week or whatever, and then sand it all flat, clear coat it as a sealer. So like I said, clear coat 2 cans probably, I would say, because this wood is Akumi, however you pronounce that. I'll put it down here somewhere, but anyways, sand this 320, a can of clear coat to seal the body, another can to flat sand this, then clear it again, just to make sure that there's enough basis where the clear coat gets absorbed into the wood. And then you also have another little protective layer over that as well, because wood is susceptible to humidity and temperature, so it will shrink and contract and expand over time. So whether it's cold or whether it's hot, the guitar body will shrink and expand. So take that into account. That's why I normally say 2 cans. If it were a harder wood like maple or like ebony or something like that, you could probably just get away with doing 1. But because I think this is a softer wood, you can basically just put your finger into it and you'll see that indentation there. But yeah, so we're gonna do something fun with this. If you guys like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. If you didn't like this video, also give it a thumbs up. hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons. I'm Jordan, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.